Hello, it's me, Debbie David. It's June the 14th, 2025, the day before Father's Day, and 2025. And because I'm estranged from my family for so many years, I don't have any media on my dad anymore. They took my computer a couple of years ago, and my paperwork and everything got taken away. So I don't have much left of my dad. But I've been doing media and documenting my life in different forms and different types of formats since the late 70s. And before that, I commandeered my dad's Kodak Brownie and his Super 8 camera when I was like 15 years old, started making movies. So I used to video my travels and things like this. And this one is the last video I have of my dad. Now, this was a period of time when I had been Debbie and owned a club in LA and been on Star Trek and all that. And I had agreed with my parents to live as a man again and come home to Kentucky. I think it was about 2006 or 7, I don't know. And so I did this little video in that period of time. And this is my friend's, the original name of this video was The Christie Creek Gang Rides Again. The Christie Creek Gang Rides Again. So it's got that footage in there of my friends, and we were surprising my friend Tom Whalen when he comes in to see people there in Kentucky, and that's how it starts out. And then we go from there to the old Mason's home where my parents were living in an apartment there. And my dad, he's blind from macular degeneration, but his brain's right there. He remembers my friends. I introduced him to a friend of mine from New York who was a New York City policeman. And I thought for Father's Day, well, anyway, I don't have any media. I just have these pictures, of my dad when he was a Marine that Barack Obama sent a picture, and my mom had it framed. And then I got, one picture of him and my mom getting married on their wedding day, Palm Sunday. And that's it. And then I found this DVD in the stuff that almost got taken to the dump. Like they said, all my stuff in Kentucky happened to it. And Ruby figured out a way for me to use my computer as a camera to record this DVD. So here's the DVD in its entirety. It's about an hour long now. And but it's got some great people, and it's got more than one father in it. So in honor of Father's Day, in this last little video, I'm going to show my home movies here. I'm not going to, probably going to get me in trouble. But they were almost obliterated, and except for this one DVD, which almost got taken away in a storage situation that I almost lost it. So I found it. I figured I recorded it so people could see it. There's several fathers on here that their children ought to see them in this period of time. So if anybody's angry about me putting them out here this way, I'm sorry. This is the last video that I made with my dad. Enjoy. Okay, when you put the original DVD into the player and then the title card pops up and you start the DVD, now I won't be able to show you the slideshow, but when it starts out, it's got Keith Bolivar in a Vendetta mask and on the left, and then Father George Yatsko in the middle, and then me on the right in a motorcycle helmet. Enjoy.
here. Take them up one at a time, okay? Who do you want to look at first?
You can't see it.
Okay.
Come in here. That's Michelle. That's Corey's girl.
Hey, honey.
Come in here.
Oh my God.
Come in here.
What up? We came down here.
You did?
Yeah, we came. We changed our panties. What's going on, ladies of the auxiliary? What up?
How you doing?
Hey, Corey.
Hey!
What you say, bud?
Well, not missing you too much.
Yeah, that's all right. That's all right. Good to see you, man.
Are you on bar? Let's give you some extra hair.
Oh, no, man. I like that, though.
That's the joke.
I like that. That's right.
That's that Billy Ray Cyrus going on.
Yeah. Hey, Khaki Panties. Hey, buddy. Me too. I'm at ball.
I know,
look.
It's scary, but hey.
Well,
I'll go as a marinara.
I thought I'll do it tonight. One of them's gotta be Timmy. Timmy? Which one's Timmy? Stand up. Oh, George.
Timmy, stand up.
No.
Oh, you sons of bitches. I'm straight bad mouth you.
Who them?
Oh my God.
Hold up. Who's behind mask?
It's too much. I can't
So hot there. It's been a long time.
That's a good one. That was a good one.
You got him. You can take the shirt off.
Tommy's crying.
Good to see you, buddy. Son of a bitch. What you say, man? Good to see you, bud.
Mom's just gonna die. You thought I was. Have you
Now,
ever
these that keep have a belly like that. How about this, man? The fucking 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. What do you say? I'll be there. I'm down, man. How'd you do this?
You know what I'm doing.
It wasn't easy for me. I'm a lying big bunk of steel, man. No, Sam's he's home, he's living with me now. But yeah, this came up.
Have a drink now.
That's hot. But a big surprise, yes, it's a good surprise.
Look here.
I know, man.
Somebody's lights are on.
I think they probably go out after a certain amount of time. Okay, we go.
Yeah.
No, they surprised me.
No, that could have been it.
At my house, too.
I don't remember.
Cookie didn't even know.
No, they brought them to my house and they were in Mexico.
We thought they were in
Oh my God, Chris,
maybe.
in Mexico.
Hey, I gotta unload some stuff here.
All right, okay.
That's here, yeah.
Keep an eye out for How about that?
Were you stunned?
I was stunned. I was stunned when I saw George, and then when I saw, I was stunned for everything.
There you go.
I'm trying to
Name,
take
Keith
still
put
pictures
me
too.
over.
I should have noted it as a sign because I was reading a book coming down here and I thought suddenly the clouds cleared and I looked down and I could see Cave Run in Moorhead. I thought, oh shit, we're almost there. And I got a little nostalgic, you know, because I can always spot Moorhead from the sky.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because I've done that flight. Well, I've done that flight path 100 times, and you can see the lake and the tower, and you know.
Campus is a lot different. I was there a couple of years ago.
The town's different. Hell, it's a wet town.
That it was like going, girls, the neighbors won't like that. You're a little droopy. I have to point that out because I have no idea. I know, but see what happened
Cook's wife is the activities director and exercise person for my mom and dad.
Oh, no kidding.
Isn't that amazing?
That's why I like this man.
Okay, so that section right there was my friend Tom Whalen coming in from Maryland, and we surprising him. And you can hear right there at the end, I say about my parents and how Cook Farmer's wife is helping to take care of my parents at the Mason's home. And we decided to go visit them. And so this next section is about us going to my parents' apartment and visiting with them. And my dad is so great. He tells some great stories, a few good jokes. And Father George, bless him, he's so great with my dad, asking him about his health and everything, and said a prayer for us. And so if you like to hear a really good conversation about some great people, this is worth watching. And then this video ends up at my friend's house, and where I think Tommy was staying, and Cookie. And I talk to Keith Boblar, the New York City police friend of mine, New York police sergeant, who was there on 9/11, about his cough, and he talks about that. So it's very interesting, I believe. And thank you for watching. Thank you for your interest. Love you. And this is my only media out of my dad, really. And I wanted to put it out for Father's Day before I die of COVID or something else, and nobody ever sees it. It just goes in the garbage by people that don't care. Love everybody. If you ever come to Detroit, look me up. I'll show you around. I'm a good tour guide.
That sort of changed color, though.
I'm Keith. We've never met.
Everybody.
This is Keith Boblar, Mom. He is a New York City policeman.
I knew your son years and years ago when he was living in New York,
Yeah.
starting trouble.
And now my mother's grandson and my nephew is living in New York. So I'm going to give him
the number. Absolutely.
Okay.
Please do.
Joseph is on the 14th floor of the building.
Nice. Nice view, I hope, you know.
He's there now?
Yeah, he lives in New York.
It's Bernie. Oh. How you been?
I've been well.
Mary Burks, you sit down.
This is Bernie Yasko, Dan,
Remember we
but
talked-
his parishioners call him Father
I
George.
have nothing but wonderful
Where are
memories
you
being with
living
you guys,
In Pennsylvania.
living with you all.
We're in Pennsylvania.
A place
you
called
forgot?
Youngwood. It's close to Pittsburgh.
He forgot where he
They have a
lived.
beautiful
Yeah, and that's where I grew up, in that area.
Really?
Now, tell me, I remember
Wonderful
you
things.
from
Thank
knowing
you.
and I think
Thank
Mary.
you very much.
Yeah, we brought our kids to your house.
Yeah, you were raised in Louisville,
Take
weren't you?
another chair there.
No, I lived there.
Oh, you lived.
I lived there after I went to Moorhead.
Oh.
Remember
Now-
I brought the piano, the organ? Remember the guy brought the organ to the shop?
Yeah.
That was me.
Well, now,
Who are those guys, those mechanics, the three generations? The Huckleberries?
The Hortonberry.
Hortonberries.
Is that who bought it?
Hortonberries. Yeah, that's who bought it.
Hortonberries.
what is your church?
Orthodox.
Orthodox?
Yeah.
Not, is it?
Well, it's like the Greeks, except I'm an American church. So there's an American church with the Russians and the Greeks and all that.
Yeah, right.
Now, the reason I was asking that, I have a partner, I think, did you ever know any Karams?
Not
Sit down, you
here.
guys. Sit down.
I think he's Orthodox.
He could be.
Bernie,
That
sit down
sounds
over
like
here.
that
Nice.
sounds like
Not too bad. We had
a
beautiful
Greek
day
name,
yesterday.
though.
We
Karam?
did, but it wasn't-
Well, he's actually, he is
Yeah.
Lebanese.
Oh, now that's Dave Addy. Do you know that name, Father Alexander?
No, I don't.
Okay, the Lebanese priest in town here is Father Alexander.
Yeah. Well, my partner just goes to that church, or his wife does.
Oh, on Hikes
That's-
Lane?
I think that's right.
Yeah.
They have because it's part of their fundraising, and they have a big cook and big day, baklava.
And lamb.
Yeah. That's interesting, very interesting.
Yeah, that guy and I went to school together. In fact, all of you know. Yeah, Tom
Dave
knows
Addy.
him. Carl knows him.
From the seminary.
Yeah. We were all in New York at the same
We've all
time.
been in New York, Louisville, and Moorhead at one time or the other together.
Together.
All of us, yes.
Since 1972.
Yes.
This month, 1972, this
And now
month.
they're all down in my house.
And he's not getting
Not for long.
But currently, you live in Pennsylvania near Pittsburgh, and you have a church there.
That's correct.
Used to come out
Oh, that's
to the
great.
house.
That's wonderful.
The city is called Monongahela, like the river.
Yes.
The Monongahela, the Allegheny, you know, the three rivers.
The
Yeah.
beginning of the Ohio.
The beginning of the Ohio. That's right. So the town that my parish is in is actually named Monongahela,
Okay.
like the Indian tribe.
The
How
town or
many,
the
how many
county?
members do you have in your
We
church?
have 72 on the books as individuals. We have about 100 families.
Okay.
Because we always have that group that doesn't show up except for
Well,
Christmas and Easter.
Doesn't every church?
Every church. Yeah.
God bless him.
And God bless them, everyone. Everyone. And here's your envelopes.
I was going to say, or do they bear gifts?
I'm sure grateful y'all came by. And
Oh, this was high on the list.
sure I
This was going to happen.
I'm sure you are having a lot of memories and
Oh, we're having a great time.
recollection.
How are you doing physically? What's the doctor saying?
What does the doctor say?
Yeah.
Well,
For both of you.
Well,
Mom just had a new pacemaker in this week.
Yeah,
yeah.
I have one.
Do you?
this is my third one.
Oh, that's right. You just had a new one. I'm on my first one. I'll catch up.
Sure, you do have one, really.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Triple bypass.
Well,
Cook had
Yeah,
bypass.
I've had triple bypass.
y'all have been there and
Cancer.
sound might as well get- yeah.
We're growing up, aren't we?
Yeah.
Purnell's Old Folk Sausage. It's so good.
just bought that today, so we can take one
Oh,
back
did
to
you?
Gary Brigg, and I got one for myself.
You know,
So anyway, so what's the doctor
freezer.
saying?
Well, here I am under the care of the cardiologist here, and I have atrial fibrillation,
I know exactly what that is.
and I have congestive
Oh,
heart failure.
too much water.
And I have several medications, but I'm doing well on them. I'm not suffering physical pain to amount to anything.
Can you tell that you have the AFib?
A few times, but not
Yeah.
often. Not
Okay.
often. And I was at the Blinded Veterans Rehab Center down in Waco, Texas. And they were near the Baylor University, and the senior citizens, like seniors, came over, the young ladies or men, and they'd interview us. And one of the questions, they would say, well, Mr. Burks, how do you feel about losing your vision? And I said, well, I'll tell you, if I could miraculously have just splendid vision some way, I would still have arthritis, I still have atrial fibrillation. My big problem is the accumulation of years, and the alternative I don't like. So I just, I think I'm handling it pretty well, Bernie.
It sounds like it.
You look like it.
Yeah,
I
he's
don't-
got no dementia, and he brain he's right there, sharp as a tack on everything. Yeah, it's great.
I live outside of Washington, D.C. now, Mr. Burks, in Frederick, Maryland.
Yeah, you have some.
I've been there about 15 years.
You have a program in that area, don't you, on radio?
Yes, sir, country radio show.
A country
radio,
That's the best kind.
Well,
Not to him.
it pays the bills.
Well, that's whatever.
He's number one in his market, and he's overlapping into the other cities like Baltimore and Washington too. And he's
We show up there.
yeah.
Well, you had a son, you said? That's
Yes, sir. I have
18?
yeah, he just turned 19.
19, is he going to college?
No, he's just living with me, looking for a job right now.
Well,
He's had some college, but he's a writer.
he's a writer.
Yes, sir. Writes poetry and performs it.
Oh, that's great. I love
Wonderful.
poetry.
Wonderful.
Yeah, he's a really good writer.
Yeah.
Very, very good. Very moving.
Has he been on television?
No, ma'am, but he's been in some. We go to coffee shops and some cafes where they have poetry readings. And,
Oh, y'all have those clubs.
Sometimes the girl in Chicago has
Really?
young men that are doing poetry.
Oh, really? See, that's right up my boy's alley. He likes to perform it. It's a whole other part of it.
Well, get him on Oprah.
Okay.
Dad, you can't
Yes.
you can't see my other friend who's here. It's his name's Keith Boblar, Dad. Yeah, Keith Boblar. He's sitting right over here by Mom. He's a friend of mine that you never met. I met him in New York. He's a sergeant with the New York Police Department. He's a policeman in New York. And so I was telling him Joseph's living there now, and he said give him a Joseph.
Joseph lives in New York?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you tell me that last night?
Yeah, Joseph. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
My nephew, Joey's son.
Oh, okay.
Joey's
If I
son.
could
That's
do
where
that.
He graduated from Princeton, and now
didn't
he
know
works
that.
for Ralph Lauren.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah,
Keith.
he's
Say
there.
hello to Mr.
How are you,
Bird.
Mr. Burke? Keith.
Well,
Hi. I didn't want to interrupt your son.
so many talking.
Is that Joey's work
He does
there?
his shit.
Yeah, that's Joey's.
He
And
does a lot of it, by the way. I just don't want to mention that.
I
You ever watch Family Guy, Carlton?
salute you as what you're doing in there in New York.
They asked him
And it's good
that
to
he
meet
had a real.
Good to meet you.
What's the
It's
most
almost
irritating
over.
first
27
name
years, I
of
think I'm
male
gonna pull the
first
pin
name?
soon.
The most irritating. He goes,
I've had enough.
Keith.
27 years I've been living in the
That stuck with me.
27.
I know what it is. I've never seen it.
It's a funny
My
show.
kids love it.
That's a funny show.
Joseph was taken by to Princeton, but he went to New York and he said, "I'm going to Princeton." He loved New York.
Me too.
Well, that's
Why did they-
my brother's painting. That's the father of Joseph.
Joseph, that's in New York, very
yeah,
nice.
it's Joe Burks. Joey Burks is the Joseph E. Burks II, and then his son is Joseph E. Burks III. So it's Joe, Joey, and Joseph.
Oh, I got you, John.
When Joseph was in Princeton, he was a rower,
Oh, really?
Rower, right? No,
Yeah.
Famous
and
team.
they were out in the waves, and his coach said, "Joseph, how'd you learn to row in the waves like that?" He said, "Between the barges of the Ohio River." And that's where he learned it.
Yeah.
And tell Joe the famous one that rode across the ocean, Tori Martin,
Troy Martin, yeah.
was his friend.
Oh, really?
Yeah, this woman. She got him into
Princeton.
the Princeton rowing team. Yeah.
Well, he was on the crew at Princeton, and they started out, I think there were 150, and there were 5 of them when he graduated, and he received the Cross Golden Oars lapel pin thing, as you know, it was an honor to do that. He
Never
and-
missed a time.
Only 5 people got the golden oar, right?
Well.
Yeah.
out of 150 that started.
Quite an honor.
And you know, he sent me a cap. This is a long-winded story, but anyway, he sent me a cap that I wore occasionally. It had Princeton on it, and it had the oars on it.
That's cool.
And I was wearing it. I was right over here at our
Best.
no,
Cracker Barrel.
Cracker Barrel, and I was going out, Mary and I was on my cane and bumming along, and this guy way up here reached and held the door for me, and he saw my cap, and he said, did you know someone that was on the crew at Princeton? And I started to say, well, I'm on there. But anyway, I started to say, I certainly did. My grandson was on the crew. And I was telling him a little bit, and he said, well, you know, I don't know your grandson, but I was at that banquet when he received that honor. He said, I was the captain of the basketball team at Princeton years ago, and I received little things at the same time you did. So I was there. When
Yeah, small
Cool.
world, small world.
and this fellow was the, I don't know what, head of in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, a Moravian university. I don't recall exactly what he called it, but it was in Bethlehem.
I know Bethlehem.
He was a professor there or something,
sir.
Dad?
Huh?
He was a professor there or something?
I think he was the,
Dean or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
No.
but it's small world. It's a small world.
I was just on that campus about a month ago.
No kidding.
Yeah, my daughter lives in the Poconos.
Oh, they're beautiful. I've been through
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
I always wanted to do the Borscht Belt circuit. Yeah, the Poconos, all those comedy clubs. Oh, man. It still exists. You can get summer jobs doing that.
Who was
As
these?
comics.
They live in Stroudsburg. Who was the actor that taught in Stroudsburg or East Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania? Remember? That was a whole.
Oh, that's he
Lee Strasberg?
studied it.
Yeah, is it?
No,
No,
not
no,
Lee
no, no.
Strasberg.
That's a woman, isn't it?
No, that's a famous actor teacher. Stanislavski.
That's.
Oh, yeah.
Constantine
Stanley.
Stanislavski.
And he would teach from people in New York. They'd drive to East Stroudsburg.
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't
wow.
know why
Study.
I didn't know what he was talking about.
Well, that was the book that we had at Moorhead was Stanislavski's,
Right.
or Boleslavski's, an actor,
Both.
but he was Stanislavski's, yeah, what was the first one?
Assistant.
Yeah, an actor
Life on
prepares.
An actor prepares.
Right, exactly, yeah.
I learned more from Mark Burks in one play.
Did you really? Tell me about
Mark
that,
is a
Cook.
great director.
Is he?
Mark was a great director. He had heart and insight, and I'd be doing a line, and he'd stop and explain it. This is how I think it should be done. Try it this way, and I'd pick, and it made all the difference in the world.
Our son,
Your son, Mark. Yes, it was.
He's a sharp
wonderful.
boy, isn't he?
He sure is.
I
Yes,
saw him
sir.
in Fiddler. I went and saw
I trust
Fiddler on
him
the
just
roof.
What part did he play in Fiddler?
He was the chorus.
No,
Well,
he was hilarious.
Yeah,
he
he
was
was,
the bartender, the guy that owned the.
Oh, the bartender, yeah.
Where they did the bottle dance.
Yeah, and,
He had a
and,
bunch of good lines.
and at the wedding, you know, he organized the wedding and everything. And
Oh, I love that
I'll never
play.
forget it. The funniest line in the play was his. He'd stand on a chair and he'd say, "Stop fighting! Stop fighting! It's a wedding!"
Right, yeah. Oh, yeah, I know the guy that, I know that character in the play. He's like the MC and the bartender.
Yeah, he'd
right.
sell
yeah.
him the package.
Yeah, right.
And take care of all of it.
Yeah.
He played John Hancock in 17 and 76.
Great show.
He did it very well. He just did a great job in it.
And he played the William Jennings Bryan character
Yeah,
in
oh,
Inherit
yeah.
the Wind.
That's a tough one.
Oh, yeah, and he
stepped in.
He stepped into that right at the
guy that
last
was
minute,
doing it
yeah.
was the same guy that played Tevye, who, excuse me for saying it, was an idiot and couldn't do it, and they had to kick him out of the play. And Mark stepped in with like 2 weeks to go and memorized those lines and did one.
he's
way
Well, that's how you get a lot of parts, too, it sounds like, Cookie.
I have been getting some. The last part I did over
He
there.
doesn't have to
I
try
stepped in
out, he
and did a
just
little
waits for
part
somebody to fall.
for him last summer in a musical. And at the end of it, the last show, we all were sitting around in the
Oh,
upstairs.
excuse
in the
me just a
theater.
minute.
All right.
Let's see who it is.
This is the hot
Cut it
spot.
short. Hello? Yes, Martha.
That's my Aunt Martha.
Wait just a sec. Okay, now. You talk to who? Yeah.
Hey, you guys, thanks for doing this. We can go, but finish your story.
I will.
Oh, don't go.
Oh, okay.
We can stay.
Yeah, but they're in no
Well, that's wonderful to know. Martha,
Would
I
anybody
have
like a glass of
company.
wine?
I'll talk
No, thank you, man.
to
Anything?
you another time, okay?
I don't think he has any beer.
I drank that whole bottle.
I figured you were kind of hungover.
Yeah.
No, you dump some out.
I was just working on maybe the hair of the dog theory would make you feel better. So
That theory works.
Donna, your
Yes.
wife works here, and we hear her, and she's really, really nice to us.
She
She's
is
a
a
nice person.
sweetheart, isn't she?
Last
I
night
just
she
love
was
her.
at the Halloween party, and she's had on her
Biker chick.
jacket.
Yes. Yes.
I told Mary she should wear her biker cap, but we forgot to do it.
Mom's got one of those biker caps,
Yeah.
like a Betty Boop biker
Sure.
chick cap. She looks good in it.
I put it on in the store and walked over to Joe and he said, well, where's your motorbike? So I took it and put it back. We were walking out of the door and he said, where's your package? I said, I didn't buy anything. Go back in there and get that cat.
Now, Cookie, you were telling a story though.
Oh, yes. They did the musical Secret Garden, and a fella had to drop out. Gil Thurman had to drop out.
Yeah.
And they needed somebody to take a little part, fill his role, and they asked me to do it, so I did it. And I have been doing a lot of shows lately. They've been asking me to come do this, come do that. And I know they used to ask Mark all the time. And the last night, after the show, the last day, we were sitting around having a little meal and talking, the whole cast and everything, and I was getting ready to leave, and I stood up and I said, now, I want to tell you all that I don't mind doing this. I enjoy it, and I love y'all, and if you ever need anything again, do not hesitate to pick that phone up and call Mark Burks. And then I left.
Oh.
But he and I have a good time down there.
Well, I always wanted to do True West with Mark, but I don't think it'll
I
ever
always
happen.
wanted to do True West,
Yeah.
but we sort of grew out of that.
Yeah, I guess so.
You know, when they got the new chairs up there at the theater, a gentleman was sitting by me. He said, did you buy any of these chairs? And I said, yes.
You said, did you buy a chair here?
Did you buy a chair here? And I said, yes.
No, you said no. And
No, I
two.
bought two.
No, you're right. No, I bought two.
Mr.
Bernie,
Burks,
did you get into the acting?
He's acting now. That's his role
I
as a
said,
priest.
Bernie, did you?
No, I'm a priest, remember?
Well, I know that.
Oh, no.
Yeah, but that's
we
a bit,
we couldn't combine
there's a little
that.
bit of show business involved, Dad.
Mr. Bernie,
You ought to see him with his censer in his robe.
a psychologist, and he's like on cutting edge of eating disorders and sexual
predators.
molestation and
Yeah.
eating disorders and how he how they relate to one another and things. He does a lot of work for the state of Pennsylvania and
In college, Bernie was a music major, a tuba player.
Bernie was?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And a band major. He played in the big
Marching
band
band
for
and
Band
more,
at
yeah,
one time,
Moorhead.
didn't you?
Yeah.
Moorhead's got a famous marching band.
In that movie, We Are Marshall.
Yeah.
yeah.
Remember that next game that they played
Yeah.
was Moorhead. I was on the field that day
Were you?
playing for
Of
that.
the actual game.
Of the
not
actual
the
game.
film.
No. Yeah, so
Bernie, I want to ask you a question, okay?
sure.
I'm Methodist. I go to the Methodist church. And my father was a Baptist. My mother was a Presbyterian. and when I was very young, there was a church in that we were rural, of course. We were out on a farm. And there was a church that had been abandoned. There was no services there. And there was a man there, and he was just a lay preacher, and he went around the community and he said, if I would start holding services over there at the Embury Church, would you come? And my mother and father said, Yes, it was close to us, and they said we would start attending there. Well, that's how I became a Methodist. But in the your church,
Mm-hmm.
does your church use the Apostles' Creed?
No, we use the Nicene Creed.
Okay, now tell me that. They don't take too long. I mean,
No, there's 3 words in there that we do not use, that everybody else in the Apostles' Creed says, I believe in one God, the Father Almighty, let me see here, and I believe in the Holy Spirit, the giver of life, who proceeds from the Son, Father and the Son.
Yeah.
Okay, it's called filioque. Son is filio, and it means and the Son. Well, we do not say that in the Nicene Creed. We say, I believe in the Holy Spirit who proceeds from the Father, who with the Father and the Son together is worshipped and glorified. That's the difference, because, now this is kind of deep, but it implies then that if the Holy Spirit proceeds from the Son, then somehow the Holy Spirit is subordinate to the Son and not just God the Father. And, I mean, it seems almost ludicrous to fight wars over that, but people died over that. And it's because of those 3 words, and the Son. And that's the difference in the 2 creeds.
well, that was something I wanted to get you. I knew you would
That's the
be
reason.
aware and know, and it's yeah.
It's just a shame that people lost their lives over something like that. You know, among their own people yet.
Was it intended to be that, to be subservient when it was written, you think?
No.
No.
Because it was written without it.
That's just a
The filioque was added.
ridiculous and
centuries ago.
somebody's ridiculous interpretation.
They added that after the turn of the century.
Okay.
Or not century. Millennium, I guess.
Right, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, after 1054. Up until that, there was no Apostles' Creed. And the same thing with the Immaculate Conception. That didn't come into what, the 16th, 17th century. That's very late.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when we were over where Jesus was born,
Mm-hmm.
we were told some of those things.
Did you go to the Holy Sepulchre and all those places where Jesus was buried and hung on the cross and all those things?
Yes, didn't we, Joe?
No, honey, we didn't.
Well, we were in the where he
We-
was born.
No, we've not been there, honey.
You were in St. Peter's
We
in
were in
Rome,
St.
right?
James Basilica in Rome.
Oh, yeah.
Ah, okay. His relics are there.
Hey, Bernie, the priest who buried your mother, remember his
Metropolitan, yeah.
Yeah. Remember he was talking to us about having all access to the deepest chambers at that area, knowing the right people or something.
Yeah, I just saw him long ago, and you know what? I came out and got a blessing. We were having a church service, and he was presiding on the side, and so I went to communion. I was coming out of the altar because, you know, the priests go first and go through. You can't just all be in the altar. So I came out, and the bishops are always honored by they preside. And so I went over and saw him, and I said, "Oh, Your Eminence, Your Beatitude, it's nice to see you again." He says, "I don't have any relics on me." He gave me relics a couple years ago, and he remembered that. He said, "You come looking for relics. I don't have any on me."
Well, that was saying when we were there in Rome, and it was just almost too much to.
I'm sure. I'm sure it was.
They had. Bernie, I'm not particularly anything. I may be skeptical more about. I have to have answers to some things, it seems. But they had gifts that you could memento things, you know, souvenir.
Oh.
And they had 2 groups. They had one that had been blessed and one that hadn't. In other words, if you bought these,
Yeah.
They cost a little more.
They cost a little more for the blessing?
Well, I just had a little trouble with it.
Yeah,
we don't have
that'll
that.
make you be skeptical.
Yeah, that's not part of my religion, though. We would never sell something like that. That would not be a part of our church.
I don't know whether the church was actually doing it or not.
That was, you know what? It wasn't a church. It was people over there, Middle Eastern people who are businessmen that want to make a buck.
Well,
that's what it was.
That was the money changers in the
That's
old
the
temple.
money changers, yeah, back in the temple.
You see, if you when we went there, and I know you've seen it in movies, but do you realize that up around the Vatican wall, those figures, statues that are up there, they're huge. I mean, you don't really get the feeling of it in just seeing a picture of that place. It's unbelievable. You know, there was a fella. This is long. There was a fella that won a trip, as I did. I won these trips by selling a certain number of tractors, reaching a goal, and they were marvelous trips that we went on. But anyway, he went to his barber to get a haircut, and he told the barber, he said, I've won a trip to Rome, and I want to get a haircut before I go. And he said, all those trips, they're not much. He said, they're usually not much. He said, no, they said it would be really, really nice. He said, well, how you going? He said, well, we go to fly. He said, what airline? He said, TWA. Oh, he said, that's the awfulest plane. It's awful. And it's just terrible. You're going to be uncomfortable all the way over there. And he said, well, he said, where are you staying over there? And he said, we're staying in the Calavera Hilton Hotel. That's a dump. That's really And he said, what are you going to do while you're there? He said, well, we're going to go to the Vatican. We're going to go to some museums. And he said, we would likely, perhaps we'd see the Pope. See the Pope. If you're going to see the Pope, you better get the best pair of binoculars you can buy. And he said, well, I don't know. He said that. So they went home and he told his wife, he said, well, my barber, I told him about our trip, and he said it was just going to be a terrible experience. She said, oh, he doesn't know. Oh, yeah, Tony's Italian. He would know. So they went on the trip, and they came back, and he went for another haircut. And the barber asked him, said, well, did you go to Rome? He said, yeah, I did. He said, how'd you go? He said, well, we flew TWA. He says, awful, wasn't it? He said, no, actually, they'd oversold the plane, and they upgraded me, and I was in first class, and it was just great. Oh. He said, well, where'd you stay? And he said, I stayed in the Hilton Hotel. He said, that was something. He said, well, kind of the same thing happened, and they moved us up and said we were a class, and we, every night their bed was turned down and there was candies on the pillow. It was just great. Well, did you go to the Vatican? He said, yeah, we went. He said, did you see the Pope? And he said, yeah. He said, tell me how far. Quarter mile, half a mile, how far were you from him? He said, I stood right in front of him and talked to him. He said, yeah. He said, at first I was quite a distance from him. I was having to squint, but he said, a fella came and told me, he said, the Pope wants to see you. And he took me and he said, I went up and said, well, what did he say? And he said, bless you, son, who gave you that awful haircut? I've got to tell that one.
That was worth the wait. But speaking of that, do you mind if we say a prayer before we have to pack up and just pray for all of us here?
I'd be delighted.
That'll be nice, won't it?
Yes.
Okay, let's just... I'm going to stand up for this. Yeah, let's do this. Yeah, turn that off.
Okay.
This
Turn it
is just
off.
for us. It's for me. Really, I'm just telling you, this is just so nice.
It's been a blessing seeing you, Mr. Burke.
Okay.
God bless you. You have good. Enjoy your holidays.
Well, thank you.
Happy Halloween.
Yeah. Yeah. If you could just see Tom's costume, it's really good.
Oh,
scary.
What a man.
Hey, I have a close relationship with the Glad Hill brothers and two big John Deere dealers up there through our radio station.
Oh. Now, what are their names?
Maurice Gladhill, Gladhill Brothers Tractor, Damascus, and Frederick, Maryland.
Frederick, Maryland.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Yeah. Well, I have had a.
Well, Shelby Supply is now 3 different dealerships together, and they're called Limestone.
It's nice meeting you, Mr. Burke.
Nice meeting you.
Pleasure.
And
Pleasure.
come back, all of you, when you can.
We will.
But the older ones do. Mr. Burke, you take care, buddy.
Did you get to show them a little bit of this facility?
Oh, well,
Just hurriedly.
Keith, are you a Mason or just interested in Mason or reading that book about
Just
Mason?
interesting. I'm reading a book, just real quick, about the guy's name is Dan Brown.
Dan
He
Brown
wrote-
wrote a new one about
He wrote
Masons,
the Da Vinci Code.
Yeah, I know.
And it's very interesting because he takes all the Masonic symbols of Washington,
Yeah.
of all the secret places. But it's a brilliant book.
Rest
And I tell you what I'll do. I'm going to send you down for Christmas. I'll send you down the reading one that you can listen to. The reading book. Would you like to listen to that?
Yes.
I'll send it down to you.
Well,
All right, I'm going to send it down to call Dave, and he'll give it to you.
All right.
We'll get it before Thanksgiving, and
maybe
you let me
get-
know.
okay.
And then we'll talk, and you let me know how true that stuff is. I'll come back, and you let me know.
He'd
Don't
like
tell
to-
me any of the secrets, but just if what he's saying is correct, okay?
I've talked to people who have read that book.
And is it accurate?
Well, according to the people that I know that are Masons, that
Okay, well, that's
they
important.
say he does a fair.
If you can do that,
Oh, okay,
then what else
okay.
would you want?
May I ask what degree you are?
Couldn't want
What?
any-
What degree of Mason are you?
Oh, I was a 3rd degree Mason.
Oh, were you? Okay.
You know, the highest degree you
It's
can
33.
have is 33. But the highest degree in Masonry is 3rd.
Ah. Okay.
My brother was.
Okay.
Of course,
That's
if you don't
interesting.
make the 3rd,
Without being 33.
you're not going anywhere.
Oh, okay. Interesting. I'll send that down to you, okay? And then we'll come down and talk.
There's a thing in Masonry that you may have heard of or may not have heard of, but it's also used in lots of other things. Did you ever hear of the black ball?
Gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
My daughter.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Okay,
Oh, really?
if you have a black ball, you won't become a 3rd degree Mason.
Okay.
That's the analogy on the highest degree being the 3rd degree. You have to,
Yeah, that's the
that's the
pleasure
one,
of one
that's the
daughter.
important one. Then
Uh-huh.
you can go wherever you,
Well, you want? Oh, okay.
Learn.
All right. Okay. Does he have a DVD player? Does he have the little
Yeah,
DVD? He does have a DVD. Radio
Bert,
DVD player.
it's good.
I'll send it down to you. A buddy of mine works at
It's
Waters
been good to see
bookstore.
you. Donald's
So again, I'll send it down. You got a reading book? All right. You have to give me your address.
I
Yeah.
will, okay.
And then you got to let me know what he thinks about it. All right. How true it is.
okay.
And I'm in a play if y'all can get down to see it.
Well, perhaps.
Have Cole David take it down.
Now, if you,
They come pick us up.
if you're back in the area, this is our home,
Yes,
and you're welcome.
Thank you.
It's up to you.
Well,
then.
God bless you. Thank you very much. It's been awful good to see you.
Yes, sir.
Dad, I got Charlie out in the car, so I'm going to go down there, and I'm going to. These guys are going to Louisville later. I don't think I'm going with them. I might come back up and see you before I go back to Lexington. All right.
And they had get me tickets. Good. So I don't know whether.
That's a great picture.
Yeah, that's good.
I see Bonnie
That is
quite
very
often. She
slick.
comes to all of them. It's good to see you. And
Well,
it's good to see
we
you.
used to have yearly
Tickets, did you?
tickets.
Yeah.
See my
Season tickets?
little dog,
Oh,
Candy.
that's Candy.
You know, I don't know, grandkids.
I miss Candy.
Well, I got Charlie in the car. My border
that
collie.
little dog.
No,
No,
the big one.
the big dog.
You guys have a great
Dale's
holiday.
dog. Yeah, yeah.
Happy Halloween.
It was raining. I couldn't leave him in Lexington. Maybe I'll come back up and bring him up to see you later, but I'm going to go with these guys now.
Okay, have fun.
All right, bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, everybody.
And Masons have always intrigued me.
Masons have always done a lot of brickwork.
Yeah.
The man who would be king, that's what saved him.
Templar Knight stuff?
Well, those
A
guys
little
were
touch
killing
of
him, he had
it,
to
but
make
more what it
everything
was
up.
about the
Okay, Keith, say that again.
December 22nd, 2009. I'm 20 years as a sergeant in the New York City Police Department.
All right, there's a
A
shield.
sergeant longer than a cop. Cop 7 years, sergeant 20 years. You know what that means? I had one good Saturday to promote the toast. That's what I had one good Saturday on any given Saturday, and I had one, and I passed the test.
Wow.
Book 'em, Keith.
Wow, that is so.
Look at how worn off it is, right? It's not even, you know, it's a little worn down.
It's a flippy floppy.
It's a flippy floppy.
I have a little one.
I got you a little one, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
A little. Did I give you a little case for two?
No.
No, I should send you down a little case.
Book 'em, Dano.
Book 'em, Dano.
Well, you probably get
One
tired
time, my
of
Nicholas.
getting this question all
Remember
the time.
Nick? I don't know
But
if
where
you remember.
were you on 9/11?
Yeah, you remember my Nicholas,
I
the
was
big
there. That's
bald
why I
one?
have the cough.
Yeah.
Out
I've had chronic cough. I've been going in every 3
Morgan.
months for
Yeah.
a breathing test.
Wow.
My,
That was fun.
They diagnosed
Well, one
me
time
with
we were in
airborne
New
asthma,
York at Keith's
but the cough
place.
is terrible. They just now
And,
scoped me because I used to throw up in the morning. I used to
Nick
cough
was just
so much.
faking
But if you hear my
shooting
voice,
pigeons.
I'm always clearing my throat. It's like this crazy post-nasal drip. They got me on. I've been on all sorts of steroids. They just gave me 2 different things that I told them because it's not been working. I'll do it for 2 months. If it doesn't work, I'm not even going to bother. Because it's horrible. You know, in this inhaler, Flovent, Ativan. It's like
Right.
crazy.
And then
What's
it's
that
next to it.
spray?
I've heard of that.
Ativan is another. Advair. It's another
Advair,
spray.
right.
Advair, Flovent.
All steroid?
All steroid. One's not. One's
Symbicort,
Comuvent.
right? Yeah.
Symbicort.
Yeah.
Comuvent is the only one that's not a steroid.
Do you have to take that to be able to breathe?
Just for
Normally?
the cough. Just for the cough.
Just for cough?
Just for the cough. The lung function is fine. It's borderline asthma, they tell me, but it's the cough that does it.
So you were in the cloud of dust from the actual.
I was
what it was
in-
in first atomized or.
I was in the.
My daughter was.
I was in Queens at the time the first plane hit. We all jumped in the car. We got down there. I was a block away when the second tower collapsed. I dove underneath a truck with a couple of firemen while this just cloud of smoke just engulfed us.
When the first well, Keith is the one that got in contact with my daughter to help her out. She was only 3 blocks away. She was one of those
Pace
people.
University.
She was at Pace University. In fact, when
right.
the
Yeah,
first
that's where
tower,
the
when the
American Academy students stay when they were
Right,
going in
right.
their academy.
Well, that's where Elizabeth was in college.
Yeah.
And when the first tower went down, no, first tower was burning. She called me first. Then, while that was happening, I called Maria. Maria then told the school it was going on, because it wasn't even on TV yet. And when Elizabeth called, because her dorm faced the towers. She could
Right.
see them. She could see them. So then it came on TV, and then I said, well, all you do is call Newark. Just go to Newark. I said, I'll have a plane waiting for you. Not little did I know, no planes. But she was on the phone with Maria when the first tower went down.
Wow.
And then we didn't hear from her for 5 hours. We were puking.
When Bernie called me, I haven't seen her talk to him in years.
Right.
And that's how we really started to really all get together, or I started to get together again with everybody.
When we came over, no, when I came up to Amy's, in your place,
That was after 9/11.
no, for that Christmas.
Probably it was after 9/11. It was that Christmas, probably.
Wow.
Oh yeah, because you took Nick and I to Ground Zero in November.
Right. It was
In
after
November, and then.
Then you came up for Christmas, and that's when you gave us that thing that I still have. Alex's dad.
Oh
the
yeah,
Santa
Alex's
hat. I
dad
still
is
have that.
Santa.
Yeah, I still have it.
Oh
It's the
man.
only decoration I put up in my apartment.
Oh, you got it.
Yeah, I
you got custody.
I got custody of that. That was my divorce decree. It's the only thing I fought for. She got the house and the dog and the kids, but I fought for that.
Well, that guy that was my roommate at American Academy, Michael Grace, right?
Oh, you gotta write his name down, and I will
let
look
me-
that up.
Yeah, okay.
All right?
But anyway, he was a.
That's mine. Put that in your pocket. That's
I
with the
will.
other card.
I will.
Well, let me write down Michael Grace on.
Yeah.
Yeah, write it in the front of this. Just put Michael Grace.
All right.
Let me get a pen.
I got it.
And approximately how old he is now. Well, I want it by date of birth too, or by approximate age. There's a database downtown that we have access to with all the.
Right. Well, he was a student at the American Academy. I
Okay.
know that, and then he was also a waiter at Windows on the
Okay.
World. So, and then
Keith.
he's probably about my age, which is 54.
Okay,
so
just put 54 parentheses.
When Carl David came to the American Academy, I picked him up at the airport.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Remember that?
Uh-huh.
And then you moved to Kipps Bay.
That's right. Oh, wow.
Wow, yeah. And because it was just you and me there for a while.
Yeah. Well, you know, when Michael Grace was a waiter there, he would call us down. And Mater D would give Keamy and I free desserts or probably some coffee and a little something to eat. If we would sit at a table near a celebrity table and act as a buffer and very nonchalantly, if somebody was going to approach a certain celebrity or something, kind of say, hey, they don't want to be bothered. Sorry. So that nobody else in the restaurant would notice it and somebody wouldn't be embarrassed and the celebrity wouldn't get bothered, right? So we did that for like Billy Idol one night and all these different people, right? One night we were up there and we were sitting there, and out of the clouds, which you could see maybe 500 feet out, but it was a cloud, you know, you were up in the cloud deck sometimes up there. Out of the clouds came this jetliner straight at
the tower,
right at the restaurant, right? Everybody in that restaurant dived. And when that plane came out of the clouds, it did like I've never seen a commercial plane ever do before. Banked to the left and just barely missed the tower and went around. And I thought then, how could a plane ever get that close without, you know,
that was close.
Unless it was intentional or something, you know. But
Well,
that was
it did happen years later. Remember the smaller plane that hit the building?
Oh, that's right. I know a small plane hit it.
I don't remember what year. What's that?
Empire State Building.
Well, this was a different one. This was over on the west side. I don't remember.
Oh yeah, right. It was a guy was a pitcher or something.
He made the bank. He was coming down the river and made the turn to crash right into on the east side. I took somebody down to see that.
No, it was west side, wasn't it?
No, east side. He was coming down the East River and went to make a turn, and they crashed into the building. The pitcher for the Yankees.
Well, my nephew who works at Ralph Lauren, he's living in Queens, I think now. I don't know exactly.
I'm in Queens. I live in Queens.
I don't know if he's in Queens or Brooklyn. I'm not sure. I'll have to find out. But anyway, he was living in Manhattan before, and he was just like right in the same building or just one corner away from where that crane came down.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Man, that was scary too. When you because anytime something happens in New York, you're thinking, oh my God, yeah. That really, it changed everything. That was probably why
hours because
this is Flight 93 during 9/11, right?
Yeah,
okay.
The same day.
And you heard it go over.
Not heard it. It was so loud that I was on the phone with a friend of ours who was calling to see how Elizabeth was doing,
right?
Because Elizabeth is the godmother to her daughter, so I mean, real tight. And
and she's in New York.
She's in New York.
The plane has already hit the tower.
It's already hit the tower. Now this plane's coming because I'm just crazy trying to find Elizabeth and I can't.
Right.
Now the 93 flies over. I ran out with the phone and the girl's talking to me in the background going, what in the world's going on? I said, I have no idea.
Bernie's still talking to me.
And so he went over.
That's Kathy
and and then these two big black helicopters chased them down.
No.
Few people said no one will own up to the helicopters. No one.
Yeah, right.
I saw them.
You saw them. Right.
Right over my house. In my front yard, I was standing. But
well, tell the helicopters. That's the best part of the helicopters, I think.
Who?
I did.
Oh, you did?
When the helicopters went over. And he ran in the house and continued to talk.
Yeah.
He's still talking today.
Still talking today. And it became a preach, so everybody would have to listen.
Yeah, and thanks for doing that prayer, Bernard. Yeah,
I didn't do it.
That was beautiful. I was bawling.
He didn't do it.
Well, that smells good, doesn't it?
Oh, are you making bread? I know, garlic.
Garlic butter.
Oh, I smell it. We used to put that in the kids' box.
And that's where the video suddenly ended, and it goes back to the menu. There was a slideshow, but I couldn't get that to play on the DVD player I had. Hope you've enjoyed this little video of mine. Well, that's my video from about 2007, I guess it was, and the last one I did with my dad, I believe. thanks for watching. I'm here in Anthony's bedroom. He's in rehab right now. Hope to get him out of there by next week and get him back home here. I'm doing good. Everybody's doing good. We're in a good place, and I'm helping people now. Yeah, again, as a caregiver, and I do some entertainment around town, sing karaoke, and do comedy nights and open mic nights around town, and I do some entertainment here too for the residents here. Love everybody. Like I said, if you come to Detroit, look me up. Happy Father's Day. I had good parents. I got lucky. Good night.